Hi everyone, it's the Colorful Booknester here at Rivercrest Cottage. It's Rebecca, and I am back after many months, almost a year, of not being a part of YouTube, and I am back with a coloring video today. I wanted to share something, and one of the things I'm doing this year is trying to get back into some books that have some unfinished business in them, works in progress. And this one, Johanna Basford's Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, is definitely one that I had started and did a really good effort with, and then it just kind of fell apart. But, you know, it's that kind of year after the year we shall not name, and life has gotten in the way, but life has decided to open up some doors for me to be able to start coloring a little bit more. So one of the things I wanted to do in Johanna's book was to color one page at a time. And I started doing that with you guys, like I said, probably, 2 years ago now. And we went through and we've colored a couple different pages. And it's very funny because I think of these pages as being finished, and then I look at it and go, I didn't finish the butterfly. So there's a lot of little pieces, and her pictures are so intricate and have so much detail that I haven't finished very many of them. But my goal for this year is to stay focused and try to get some of my pages completed that I've already started before starting a new one. And my urge to want to start new ones is huge. And one of the ways I'm doing that here with Johanna's book is by doing things one at a time. In other words, kind of doing an element at a time. So let's take like this right here, the plant. So it looks like it's almost done. I have some more things I want to do here with the macrame, the string, or whatever you want to call it, the thread that's holding it up. But that one element, and you know, here in the tassel and stuff, is basically done. And that's really how I want to look at this. So I'm going to do a lot of little individual elements here and there, and I thought that I would bring you along while I did that. So recently I did the cuckoo clock over here, and you may or may not have seen some pictures on my Instagram of many pencils that it takes for me to do simple things like a book. But I am slowly just looking at this and going, you know what, I'm just going to do this, one little element at a time. So there might be a time when I just focus on the bunting up here or that balloon. And slowly things will get done instead of saying I need to get the whole page done. I have this room, and that's actually the clock. I did this clock first and then had to do the subsequent clock on the other page, which was funny. This room of all these amazing little treasures and stuff. I mean, this could be taking me forever. I mean, even the books, I could work on the bookshelf all day long and still not be done with it. So rather than beat myself up, look at it and go, okay, so what elements do I want to work on? And kind of giving me that time to enjoy that element, focus on it, and then move on. So this is one of the few pages I feel is done, and this is actually the inspiration for today. So I did this page, and there is a video on it, and I'll try to make sure and link the video down below for you guys. And this is where I used distressed inks, and I used Zucchini Kitty's method of using distressed inks to make like this little background of butterflies. And the butterflies are ones that you actually find throughout the book. Basically it's inky in different sizes and everything. And I love the look of this. And I thought I would carry it over into another page, and it's this one right here. So the difference is I don't really want to use the ink. I want to try to recreate this, or I wanted to try to recreate this using my pencils, my Prisma Premiers, because not everybody has those inks, and it's yet another technique and more things that you have to go and buy. And I want to try to show you how I would do it using just my pencils. And the nice thing is that luckily, and I found these the other day, I still have my cutouts that I made by tracing the butterflies. So let's see, I have a feeling, nope, that's probably not it. But if you go around, I could probably find the butterflies I used. And what I did initially was just trace these onto tracing paper using a carbon transfer and then put that onto cardstock. And now, I mean, they're not, you know, they're much thicker than regular paper, but it's a cardstock. And then that's what I used when I was doing this page with my inks around the edges. So instead I'm using it now as to make that ghost. So if you look here, there's a butterfly here, there's little hints of a butterfly there, there's a butterfly even in here, and it just is going to give that little of illusion of like a butterfly shadow. And that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm really hoping to be able to show you. So that is what we're going to work on today, just this page. I want to make this go across and up behind kind of the flourish as it goes to the next page. And you know, there's still little things here. I have, you know, a little butterfly here to color. I have her to color, or I don't know, Inky, is it a boy or girl? I have this little butterfly to color, and then I have quite a, you know, a couple little, oh, there's another butterfly there, to do some more of little flowers to finish this page. So I thought we would start working on this and then kind of go through it. Now, you know me, I'm going to be the queen of layers. You can even tell here how many layers there are, but we're going to start with tracing and kind of, I'm going to place these butterflies in different areas for me to kind of get a feel of where I might want to see them throughout this flourish. And the way I suggest to do this is to outline it basically in the lightest color, and then you can kind of work from there. In this case, the lightest color of the group of colors that are going across here are kind of that is a yellow. And so I want to take my little tiny yellow, and I hope, oh, I probably can't even, there, good, at least I still have the number if I don't know the name. And I will be keeping track of these and of course posting up any ones that I use. But our first one is going to be Prismacolor 915. He's itty bitty. Use my little extender. And what I want to do is just hold him down and then kind of see if I can get this traced around and still see it, which might prove to be a problem. But I'm using the yellow to outline. You know what's going to be the problem is you guys are not going to be able to see it, even if I can. All right. Yeah, you can't really see that. Let me bring you down first of all. Let's get a little bit closer and in focus. There we go. A little bit better focus, and then we're going to move him over where you can see. And you know what, I'm going to do this one just so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. We're going to put the butterfly here, and we're just going around the edges tracing it, and I'm doing this very, very lightly. And this is almost like how some people do the bokeh effect. So it's a little too light even for me. Oh, we're going to come around. There we go. So there is very, very, let me see if I can get that, ever so lightly is a picture, the outline. And what I'm going to show is I'm going to show you how I can make this stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to just start with this green color. I'm going right up to the edge of it, doing my circles as I normally do, and we're going to start kind of just making it stand out a little bit. And this first green that I'm using is, this is the lime peel. Just kind of shading in there right now. And then we're going to do a really light circular color. This is pretty hard to see, but you know me, queen of layers. So if you have the patience to wait for this, there's a little head, and then I'm going to kind of fade out here. And that's number PC 901. And we're going to start coming in. Now this one should show it up a little bit better for you, but we're going to do a little bit of Now the biggest thing is with this book is I did pick out all my colors kind of, and I'm keeping to that. Now I say it's a limited palette, but it's not anything near like the discussion of what a limited palette is. What it is, yeah, there you go. There's the limited palette. Move you back out. Yeah. These are all the pencils that I've picked out to use in this book. I don't let myself go get any other ones. I keep them all together, and I know this is what I'm using in the book, and it's really helping keep a consistent color scheme going in a book so that I don't go outside of that. And these were all chosen well 2 years ago and been kept in this same little I think it's a makeup brush organizer or makeup organizer, but it works really well. But that will help me stay kind of true to the colors. So let me bring you back in. There we go. All right, now one of the things I am going to do is overlap some of the colors because I want that to, as you can see, how they kind of blend into one another. That's one of the good things about using, in this case I chose the yellows and the blues because of course they're going to blend and make green, so I'm getting different shades of green as well. I'm going to go over here with some blue on this side up to the edge of it. And by it, I'm talking about the little butterfly. And it's just a little butterfly frame. This is 912 Apple Green. And I'm going to go ahead and butt that up against here. And go into that blue just a little bit. We're going to use this. Again, I'm trying to use colors that are going to kind of show the exterior or the frame of the butterfly. So you're starting to see the butterfly kind of appear now. And you can kind of look there. I'm going to do a little green over on this side, just a little bit. I'm going to start hitting out with this Mediterranean blue, number 1022. And I'm going to just kind of come out a little bit out of the green, kind of mix the two together. Again, I think the overlapping of the colors makes the blending of this whole kind of background work. And it's a nice little pop of color. So as you can see, if you look right around in here, there is a faint outline of a butterfly emerging. Now I'm going to come in with number 942, and this is yellow ochre. And we're just going to start messing with this a little bit more and building it out. And I don't want to go too far because I want to put in another butterfly. So I'm going to put the butterfly here. Good, I'm not quite out of frame yet. So we're going to try to, and I'm just going to use this yellow ochre to kind of make my outline. And again, you won't really be able to see it from where you're at. I don't want to make it too heavy, but I need it. Oh, I need to be able to use it as my guide. I need to be able to see it. Okay, just a hint up. Didn't quite, oh, finish him on this side. Okay. So I'm going to use this yellow in here. Go back over the blue a little bit. A little bit of yellow over here because there's no color in there. And again, when I kind of do the yellow into the blue, it changes up that color a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to come back in and start kind of going back over with the colors that we just did. We're going to repeat them just on the outside again. So we have lime peel here. I'm going into the yellow a little bit. Again, you'll notice I still do my circles. I don't know that you have to. I always say that. If you watch any of my videos, I'll say that again. This is just my technique. But I figured this was a, you know, if you like the look and you want to have that kind of a way to make a different pattern without it costing a whole lot, this is very inexpensive. If you can copy the pages directly onto cardstock and cut them out that way, and I did that with a few pages, it's just I can't really do that any longer. I don't have, see, so like these have been printed out or copied on copy paper, but I could copy this onto a heavier duty cardstock and then cut that out, and I could do the silhouette of the bird, things like that, which you might want to use in different places throughout. So if I do that, of course I'll be showing you how I do it, but since I don't have a easy access to a copier anymore, the tracing paper method is something I have to do now. Now this is just, of course, the first of probably many layers, especially if you look at the intensity, how light this is compared to the intensity of this. And you can even see here how I've done not only a lighter kind of picture, butterfly, but here's a darker butterfly. So seeing that in here. So, and it kind of just morphs. I don't always have it planned which ones are going to be light ones and which ones are going to be darker. Darker butterflies. Okay. All right, and now I'm coming in. Alright, just want to put some indigo blue here. Just really, and it's a little bit darker than everything else has been. This is probably my darkest blue that I use in this little method here for this butterfly anyways. So someone has put out on Instagram a hashtag Johanna January, and I love that. I will, if I mean, it's almost the end of January, so by the time you guys will be seeing this, but I've kind of decided that it's probably going to be a hashtag Johanna 2021 for me. I'm going to be visiting Ivy, Inky, and her Inky and Ivy, and Ivy and Inky. I always put it backwards. Quite a lot this year is my plan. Largely because I do have so many of these pages that I want to go ahead and get finished. Now the idea is not to finish the book. I'm not going to go that far. It is to finish these pages I've already started. And this is page 9 and 10. Just to let you know. And then I have worked on, oh, let me bring you back out just so you can see, 11 and 12. But a perfect example is, this page is pretty much done, though I have a few things already. I'm like, oh, I could go do that and that. But my books, I just didn't do the books. So doing that element will be important. And then I went ahead and moved on to this page, which is getting to the point of, you know, there's quite a lot, but there's still a lot to do. But again, I get inspired with an idea that I want to go try it, and then I don't finish the page. So I need to, and I started, you can see this is, you know, I'm starting with like an idea of how do I do a bright yellow to maybe going lighter and lighter to more of a blue. There's tons of flowers in here to do, and I think, yeah, this page, I've just started. Obviously had some idea of how the colors I wanted to use in it, but again, there, you know, luckily I haven't went any further, but I really just want to get the pages done that I've kind of set myself up as trying to do. All right, that I've already started. And there's so many elements and things, you know, color-wise and stuff. I feel like I'm going to probably bring you along for different elements as I go through them. Maybe not every single thing, just like I didn't take you along for this whole page. But we'll go along, and, you know, there'll be, if you see something on one page, most likely I will be repeating it again. And it might be something you might want to show me. Now, one thing I did throughout the book was go in and try to find all of the little inky butterflies and go ahead and put the ink on the end of their wings. As it's dripping, and then color the ink spots. That was for me just to, and there's a couple I think I've missed already. I've noticed some ink spots that I might have missed. So those I won't be doing as much, but the idea is there's black ink all throughout the book because it's all over the butterfly. So we're gonna go ahead and go in here with this apple green number 912. I'm gonna put it over here next to the blue. And again, I back it back into the blue a little bit. Whatever color's next door to it, just so that we get those two colors merging and they blend a little better. And I might as well start it now, you know, with the first layer. So I have bought her other book, World of Flowers. I've not really let myself get into it very much because, you know, I haven't done much coloring. I'm hoping to get my coloring mojo back, that's for sure, just because of all the things that happened in the last year or so. And then I went ahead and put myself down for her early order or pre-ordering. I think it's a book that's due out in March, I think is what they're saying, for her next one. I can't remember the name of it right now. Something Worlds. Don't know. If I remember, and hopefully watching this it will remind me, I will go out and see if I can get a picture of that book and be able to put it in here for you. But there's supposed to be a new one coming out, and she was the first adult coloring book that I ever picked up when all of this started way back. And so I kind of like having, and I think I have all of her books now, I think. And I really like how she engages with her customers and, you know, the coloring community so much. Love that accent she has. It's wonderful. And she, you know, I like how approachable she presents herself to be. Not promising she is, but she presents herself very much as an approachable individual, and I appreciate that. All right, so we're coming back in with 1022. This is the other blue. It's more of a Mediterranean blue is what it's called, so we're going to put that in very lightly. Mix it into the green just a little bit. As you can see, that little bit of the butterfly shape. So again, the butterfly shape here, and now you have it here. And then I'm going to definitely put another one in. And I've got a couple more along, but we're just going to kind of focus on this area for now. So now that I've got this all done here. All right. Now I've got to kind of decide, do I have a particular color I want those to be? I'm going to leave them blank for right now and really focus on the outside area. I feel like there should be a butterfly here, so I think we need to put another one in there. Now the question is, do I do the medium or do I do the teeny tiny one? The small one I just don't think is going to come up very well. Though I could do him probably right in there. All right, let's try him there. Now, I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to do it in the blue. And again, it's very light, but I'm just going to use the Mediterranean blue. He's really fiddly because he's so tiny. That's about, I mean, it's not perfect, but there's a little tiny outline of him. And what I'm going to do instead this time, I'm going to actually fill in him with blue because he's going to end up being a darker shadow than what's around him. So we're going to give that a try. Do something a little bit different with him. And he's small enough that hopefully it will work. I'm starting with this Mediterranean blue. So you can see him a little bit more. I'm going to start him out kind of light. Now I'm going to go in again and do another layer. Because I want him to stand out in the colors that I choose around him. I want a shadow effect. So he's showing up a little bit more. Now I'm going to start putting some yellow up closer to him. Mix back into that green that I've already set up before from the previous coloring session. Again, trying to make that work together. And this really works because, of course, blue and yellow makes green. So, you know, I'm not trying to make a pink or a purple fade in because it would change that color and could get, you know, pink and green could be a really shocking color, I'm sure. So as you can see, he's kind of sticking out a little bit, which is good. You're being able to see him a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my lighter color, which I don't know what it's called. I bet I could. Do I have another one? Hold on. Nope. So number 915. And because it's so tiny, it's the one that I was kind of showing at the very beginning, I don't have the name anymore, but we will look it up and it will be here on the screen. This one really brightens the yellows. And also kind of changes that blue a little bit on the, because it makes that more of a green color, which is kind of fun and different around than what I've seen yet. I'll back this up into here. And that's what I do. And so for this section, you're gonna see a lot of me just backing back over and really layering those colors, because that's something that I do. Yep, that's something that I do. Now what I'm thinking is I'm going to take this really light 915 and put it in for this big butterfly. So I'm going to go ahead and color him in using the yellow. So got that faint single layer. I'm just going over it a little bit more to give it some more depth. Now I'm just going to kind of rock this little yellow around in different areas. But as you can see, we're starting to make that where it's more flowing off to the off the page over here, off to the right. Then I'm just going to start building. You're going to just see me building the colors around here and then slowly moving. It's a good chance this one will end up some type of green, but I don't know yet. I haven't decided completely, but there's a good chance because we have a blue one, we have kind of a yellow one, and then that one up there would be most likely a green color, but we shall see. I'm just going to start going through those colors and kind of splatting them about, just in different places, no rhyme or reason. All right, so I have the 3 here, and all I'm going to do now is just start really increasing the amount of color so that and the depth of it, so it looks more like what you see on this side. So you can kind of see between the two where we're at. So it's just going to be a series of layering. I'm just going to sit here and just work on it. There's no real rhyme or reason, but trying to get this to match so that it goes up. And then of course there'll be the one final spot up here that I probably put a couple more butterflies, but you can slowly see that there's multiple butterflies in the background. It's subtle, but I still think it's pretty neat. All right, here I go. So right here, I'm gonna go ahead and darken this little guy because I'm liking how I'm kind of having these different cloud dark formations, and I don't have that as much over here. So that's one of the things I like with this kind of a process. It's very evolutionary. It kind of evolves. Maybe I do something, see it, and go, oh, that's kind of a neat little texture. And then I quickly will go back and look in other areas and see where I can add it. But right now, because this little guy was really a light blue, I've decided I want him to be a little bit darker and more intense. So you can really see that kind of that ghosting effect. That adding to the, so just putting in, and you know, that's something with coloring I've noticed. One of the big things you have to learn when I'm coloring has been the addition of light and dark areas and not being afraid to go in and do that next layer. I do things in small areas first and try it and see how I like it. But it's funny because it really kind of like now that's really changed the feel of this. And if you look here, so we've got these darker areas. Let's see if I can bring this down a little bit. We got darker areas here and down in here, but none over here. So I need to go back and add all those in. And so this whole, and then what it'll do is it'll make this all blend together. But it really is about spending time with your work. And by work, I mean you're with your hobby, with your fun. And don't be so quick trying necessarily to get things done. Let it evolve. Spend some time with it. See what you like and what you don't like as you're going through. Because when you learn a new technique, especially giving yourself some time to learn what the technique is, or in this case, I kind of am creating a technique for myself. But I now know I can do this in so many ways, and I'm sure it's going to show up again in this book because there's so much mythical parts of this book, and it's such a lovely made up story, and I want it to have kind of that magical feel. So this is like a perfect technique for that. So it's kind of fun to develop it. So one thing I've noticed, I really haven't added a dark green yet. So I think I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, I love this Prussian green. Prussian green, and then there's like a peacock something. What's the peacock? The peacock blue. I might actually add those two colors in. So let's try the Prussian green. So this is kind of what I was talking about, doing it in small areas first. So right up against the butterfly outline here is probably not a bad place, but I can kind of see how that is working. Now the Prussian blue and the peacock, I'm sorry, the Prussian green and the peacock blue that I'm talking about has a lot of the colors that are already in here, but it's a more intense color. So that's why I think it would work really well. So yeah, I'm liking how that's the intensity of that color. So definitely going to use this in a couple more places. Gives it kind of that smoky, cloudy effect that I like. And as you see, it's very random edges. That's why I like the circles, because I can make really, really kind of not harsh lines, you know, things that are not going to be so set. And then here I go, I'm going into that blue and mixing that green just a little bit. Again, just trying to blur those lines a little bit. And by having that limited palette, that helps everything kind of blend. Again, if I try to come in with, you know, a pink or another bright or a different an orange, I don't know that it would be as easy. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't know enough about color theory and how to make that work. And I definitely don't have the confidence. So I like having myself kind of limited just a little bit with what I'm with what colors. But even then, I say I'm limited, but look at this. I mean, let's see. Is it really that limited when this is the colors that I'm working with? You know, when you sit there and look at it, this is what I was pointing at before. I mean, I'm just doing a background and there's this many colors that I'm working with and interspersing. For some reason, I'm thinking there might even be another one that I've put back accidentally. But by doing that and having all those, they're all in the same family pretty much, you know, as far as, again, the blues and stuff. Let me go ahead and keep going. Oh. So again, just to kind of show you where we're coming from. So we're coming from this that I did using those inks, distressed inks, very much the same thing. And because the distressed inks, as you're layering them, they get all those different colors and variances in the green. You know, it's not just a solid green, and it, you know, and then also stamping them at different times across. Let's see, like here, you see there's a little bit of green, there's a little bit of yellow in here, but yet ultimately the relief that you're seeing is coming through. That's what's inspiring me over here. But now I'm just doing it just with pencils only. And so it can be done. It's just, you know, it's kind of, again, as always, layers. Maybe that'll be a new drinking game you guys do. Oh, I'm watching one of Rebecca's coloring videos. How many times can she say layers? And every time she says layers, we're gonna drink something. We'll probably be going to the bathroom a lot too. But that is the name of the game. I think it's another one. I sometimes think that people would get so bored watching my videos because I don't really know that I come up with a whole lot of new stuff ever. I don't feel like I do. I feel like I'm just doing the same thing in different books. I love what I do, and I love the coloring, and I love the piece, and but I just don't. I don't know that I'm coming up with really new stuff. And since I'm not wanting to get a lot of new supplies, I'm definitely not going to be showing you different and new techniques necessarily. That's not really. My techniques I develop with the supplies I have. And that's, to me, is a challenge, and I like that. I like that challenge. All right, let's see. All right, there's a lot of little fun dark greens that I've kind of put in. I think I'll do a dark green over here, even though that's a blue. But we'll try just a little bit. All right, so this is going to be our peacock blue. Now, this peacock blue, actually, I'm going to do a little bit of it up in here. It has so much green. It's a really nice mix of the greens. It's like the really vivid green of the Prussian, and then also like the Mediterranean, and a little, you know, so I think this is a good in between. You get a greenish blue look with it. Well, yeah, well, only if you could actually watch what I was doing and see what I was doing. It's coloring off the page. Well, off the video screen anyways. And the big thing with any of these is to kind of step back and keep checking in with it. And it's kind of good doing this on the video with you guys because, oh, that's actually, because what it's doing is I can see it in a different color, or not, in a different angle, and I can see, am I making it as dark and rich on one end as the other. So that's why I'm coming back in here and doing a little bit more with this one, because I kind of paused on it because I want to do the video, and I'm glad that I have paused on it because now I can come back and intensify using these colors. And I was not using the peacock or blue or the Prussian green before, and I think it's these are good colors to really pop some of this. All right, so what I've decided is I'm going to go ahead and finish out this last little part. I'm trying to decide if I want like a large butterfly here, but I think that'd be a little bit too big. So I'm thinking maybe just putting one final butterfly about there. And then filling, well, I might bring him up a little bit, and filling that in with color all the way around as it goes off the page. So I'm going to do this one last time, kind of go through the colors with you. One thing is I have added a new color, this little darkening one, so I'll kind of show this little dark that I have here and here. Just so that you guys know, that's going to be PC943. It's the burnt ochre, and I just needed something to kind of deepen the gold or the yellow a little bit, and I really like it. It's been a nice little punch of color. And then I need to finish up my little flowers, and that'll be it for this page. Actually, if I look over it, I mean, I need to finish out my butterflies, so I will definitely put a completed color or completed picture for you guys at the end. So it's always hard to decide kind of what color, main color, am I going to want the butterfly, but I think we're going to go for one final little bit, and we're just going to go with the blue here. So, and this one is the peacock blue. It's the one that I kind of added in just for a little pop, a little more intense color, but we're going to go ever so slightly with the blue. Oop. And the thing is, you know, just because this is kind of a shadow effect, you really don't need to have it be really, really perfect when you sketch it out. Just, it's there for you as a guide. So that one's going to be right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and because there's so much yellow and kind of orange over here, I'm going to go ahead, or not orange, sorry, yellow and green. I'm going to go ahead and start making some blue using the peacock. Just a hair. Just little bits. And then I'm going to bring in, right, and start bringing in the yellow up to the edge of it there. And I gotta be careful. This is the canary yellow. It already has some greenish tones in it, which is interesting. I didn't realize that until kind of putting these all together and kind of going, oh, that has a little bit of a green tint. Which makes it a good blender between the greens, but it does make the yellow, when you do put it up next to the blue, I see more of the greens in there. Alright, I'm going in with my yellow ochre just to kind of deepen that yellow a little bit. Like I said, I wanted more yellow around this because this is going to be a blue butterfly, or should be, as I kind of outlined it in the blue. So this has been an interesting refilling. I hope I get better at this. I can tell I'm out of practice. I apologize. As far as filming and coloring at the same time. I can really feel the difference, and I think and this may not have been the best one to do right off the bat, but I am hoping to get this page done, and I will definitely take a picture of the finished page. I've still got the flowers to go back into, and then these little butterflies I've got to color in. And remember, my butterfly is going to take some nod back to the main butterfly, that one right there, because that's supposed to be Inky. Whoop, there we go. So that's supposed to be Inky, what I'm representing with these little guys, each one of those. So yeah, that'll take a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to come in with the lime peel. Now I've decided to do, and you know, I made this decision before. All those pencils were chosen before I started working on this page. All right. Oops. Let me go answer the phone. All right, sorry about that. It was a little bit of a phone call. Had to run and go get that. So I'm going in now with the lime peel, PC1005, and I'm just going to go ahead and do some of the green around here. So I'm going to take this muted turquoise and kind of fade it into some of the green and yellows. It's a little bit lighter than the peacock. And I'm going to start just kind of randomly coloring in here on the butterfly that we outlined. And I'm going to go a little bit over the line, hopefully starting to kind of blur that just a hair, not too much. The darker blue is a little bit harder to make look a little less like really in your face, but I really wanted to do it. All right, now I'm coming in with the sky blue light. Kind of start putting some blue down there, but not a really dark one. So we're going to use that to start kind of filling in the rest of the little butterfly here. And remember, that's what we're hoping for. We just really want to have that kind of almost like a shadow in this background. Alright, so we've got that little hint of that butterfly there, and now I'm going to go ahead and really work on the outside, because that really makes it kind of stand out as what you do on the outside of it. So we're just going to go back in, start kind of using that lime peel green a little bit heavier, kind of mixing it around with all the blue just to finish this out. Now come back in with that yellow ochre just to deepen it again. Especially in that original canary yellow, just to kind of give it some of that depth and mix. And I'm mixing even into the green. Now this is the additional brown that I've kind of come back in, and let me show you over down in here. You can see it here and here, there, and introduced just lightly maybe, and then a little bit here. So I'm just putting it around ever so lightly, and it is the burnt ochre. So we just had the yellow ochre, and now we're going to go into burnt ochre. And I just think that it gives us a little depth, almost like a shadow in there, and then shows off those other colors a little bit more. So that's the biggest thing with coloring, is don't be afraid to put those deep darker colors with the lighter colors here and there, because those two different colors together, you need to have your highs and lows. You need to have your lights and darks. They play off of each other beautifully. Your lights seem lighter and your darks seem more intense by doing that. So just by adding a couple little spots here and there, the hard part is to stop. And now I'm going to go ahead and kind of like work on this butterfly, and we're going to start layering up. So we have some darker layers in the bottom. Now I'm going to put the sky blue light again. So I'm going to put that sky blue over everything again, and then come back in just a moment. And I'm putting it over the light and the dark blues, just to start putting those layers in there. Now I'm coming at that Mediterranean blue. Again, it's a darker blue. We're going to just start putting some little wispy darks and lights. And then we're going to bring in that peacock blue. Just again, just a few little spots here and there. Almost looks like clouds. Looks like a little cloudy guy. So now this is that muted turquoise, just another little round, kind of softening the dark that I just put in and edging out just a little bit. There we go. It's just not as loud as it was, and we've softened those lines a little bit, the outline of the butterfly, just a little. So it looks more like smoke or a cloud, and then you see subtly that it is a butterfly. And I'm just going to go over with the sky blue. Let's see what it is, sky blue light, just one more time, just to kind of. This is what's nice about Prismacolors. This is how I blend most of my Prismacolors. I just use the lightest color and the shades I've been working on. I've never enjoyed using a blender pencil, but these lighter shades or a white or whatever to kind of blend them together, they end up, once you've made enough layers, it does a nice job of blending. Now, one of the things I haven't done is much of a dark green anywhere, and I think I need to darken up. So if we look down here, you can see how it's kind of darker here. You have some really good dark colors. Up here, it's gotten really, really light, which is kind of fun. Maybe there's not as much ink being spread up here because this is the last place they went. But I'm going to put in a little bit of the Prussian green just to get a little bit of darker shades in there. It's very random. Hopefully you can tell that this is all incredibly random. I'm kind of looking for balances. I have a tendency to work diagonally across my pictures. So if I'm over here, I'm looking over here to see is there something to balance it. If I'm down here, is there something kind of up here? It doesn't have to be directly in perfect line, but kind of like if I think of this as a circle area, do I have the colors in multiple places? I'm going to have to figure out what this 915 color is. Since it's so short, I can't see the name of it, but we're going to kind of bring this in, go over quite a lot. It gives kind of this overt goldy yellow tone to everything, and I think starts bringing stuff together. I have to be careful with the blues because they will turn green. All right, I think we're getting pretty close. I'm going to bring this out just to see. Actually, there's a couple blues I'm thinking I might want to go do something with. But there you go. So if we look, this is basically what we've colored. We've had the yellow that we did with the butterfly, and then we had the smaller butterfly that we kind of did in the green yellow here. Then we did do a little one way over here, little blue butterfly, and then we finished with another one kind of hitting there. So it's really given a mottled look, and I like that. I'm probably going to go in though with this Mediterranean, or no, sky blue light, and just kind of intensify some of this lighter colors here because they don't have any multiple layers on them, but I think that'll look more consistent. So just going into some of these blues and hitting them. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think we're getting pretty close to ending with that whole little stream going across the page. Thank you so much for joining me while I did this tonight. I hope that you've learned a little bit here and there. Maybe you have used a technique similar to this. Again, it's very much similar to what I did with the inks here, kind of that impression, but here we did it instead with just pencils. So just to kind of give you an idea of the way to do a background. I have a feeling I'll be doing something like this as I go through this book. I think it's something I kind of would like to continue through the book, and by trying to keep the colors similar and trying to keep, you know, the colors of the butterfly the same, I think I'm really going to enjoy that. So our next page to start working on is either I will do a quick little doing my books here, but this page is pretty much done. So page, I think this is like 11 and 12. Page 11 and 12, those are pretty much done, and then I'm really looking forward to starting this, which is going to have a incredible spring feel once I get going. But I've already started doing some fun things. I've already colored in the butterfly there, Inky, so that I kind of have a guide. But, you know, again, sticking with our color schemes as we're going along. So I'll probably be having you see a few things as I do these next two pages, which are mostly all flowers, which are always interesting, especially with the not limited. I mean, again, I have tons of pencils that I'm using, but I think that they're kind of limited in nature. And then I need to deepen up the sun, the sky here. As you see, I want it as dark over here, up in here. So I'll show you how I do that, which is very similar to what I just did. And it is all about the light and the darks. So here we go. I will put at the end of this the final picture, what this page ended up looking like. Hopefully I can get a good picture of the entire thing. If not, I'll show the two different ones, but the two different pages. But again, gives kind of movement with flow across this page. Thanks for joining in. I've missed all of y'all. I hope I get better at this. Obviously, I've been out of practice, that's for sure.